On today's show, Maria started getting attacked by spirits at nighttime. Her dream explains where the problems come from. We tell her how to fix it, and the problem goes away. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm so excited that you are here for another interesting week of dreams.
This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you on your earth journey. That's why we focus on dreams. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing in life right now, at this very moment, then look no further than your dreams. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you what your superpowers are, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. But these bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analyzed on our show, go to dream-analysis.com/podcast, fill in the form that's there, or simply email radioshow@dream-analysis.com. That's all you have to do. Sandy.
Hey, Michael, we have a major event coming up in May, and it's May 16th through the 18th, and it's our 3-day Dream Interpretation Summit. Woohoo! All right, Michael, take over.
We run 2 summits a year. They're both completely different from each other. And Sandy's always said, let's do something from the spiritual perspective, like as deep as people want to go, talking about things. And that's what this one is. And I was like, I don't know how well this is going to be received, but we've only done it once before and it was so well received. It was amazing. So we're really looking forward to doing it a second time because we've improved it. So if you register now, dream-analysis.com/free. We've already run 2 of the workshops. We talked about career and calling in dreams, like your vocation. What did you come to the planet to do? It's an extremely fascinating and super important subject. And then we talk about relationships. Relationships and career, the 2 together, are probably the biggest way that you repay your karmic debts. Dreams talk about life from that planning stage perspective. Our dreams know what we're here for. And so they say, this is why you're in this relationship. This is what you have to overcome, or this is the gift you brought with you. This is why you're to use it. And so knowing that is hugely important for you getting a good life review at the end of this one, rather than one that says, you know, those things you promised you were going to do and you didn't do. Let's plan it again and let's make life stricter because you didn't do it the last time. Attend this workshop. You're going to learn lots of stuff from that perspective. You'll love it. dream-analysis.com/free. And then the major event, May 16th to 18th.
That's right. And our next special workshop for people that sign up is on Thursday, May 1st. So that is coming up quicker than what you think. And this one is my favorite subject. It's dreams you don't want to have. Now, you got to ask the question, what dreams don't I want to have? Well, come find out.
That makes me think of, like Simpsons episodes where the newscaster says, there's some food item in your closet is poisoning you and could kill you today. We'll tell you what it is after the news. It's like dreams you don't want to have, but we're going to tell you nothing now.
That's right. They're going to keep you in suspense. It's Thursday, May 1st at noon Pacific time. Anyways, Michael, I'm ready to dive into some dreams. So this following dream that I'm going to cover in a minute is from Jane, and she's an excellent channel. But about 5 minutes ago, she started getting attacked. And this is the amazing part. Her dreams show actually why she's getting attacked. And so I'm excited to see what you have to say about this, Michael. All righty, here we go. The title is There's a Million Ways an Entity Can Get In. And it's from Jane. Even the title makes me laugh. There has been an entity attacking me. I am in my childhood bedroom now, in bed with somebody. There is a traditional style yellow phone on a nightstand to the left, which rings. I lean over the person and answer it. The voice on the phone says, I'm going to come over and attack you between 6:45 and 7, just like I did the other night. Joe sent me. Woo! This should be a Halloween one, Michael. All righty. Have fun.
I love the dramatics he brings to it. So Entities need to disempower you and get your energy down. They feed on that low energy. So they can't have you in high spirits because they can't even attack you if you're in high spirits, in fact. So Joe is a real person. And Jane had asked Joe to clear her when she had issues before. So she'd been attacked for around 5 months. Not a lot of times, but just it's happened over 5 months. So if she has somebody show up and says, hey, that person that you're getting to clear you, he's the one attacking you, then that's a great trick to play. Now, she didn't fall for it. She called Joe and told him again, and he cleared her, and that's all good. But it makes perfect sense for the entity to turn off her connecting with Joe.
This is great. I quickly hang up the phone, but I don't think I have the receiver set on the cradle properly. I tell the person with me what the voice said. He reaches over to check that I hung up the phone properly, which I hadn't. Ooh, there you go, Michael.
That's the problem. So the phone is about your connection to the spirit world, or at least it is in her case, right? But she's not hanging it up properly. So she channels, she knows all the things to do, she knows how to clear herself and all that sort of stuff as well. But she had started skipping a very important step in the channeling process. So what we do is we ground, we make our connection, we open up, we talk to our guides, and then the important step is we close down afterwards. We don't want to leave our chakras in a connected to the spirit world state. The way to kind of think of it is each chakra is kind of like a flower that's open. But if you connect to the spirit world, your chakras open fully. And there are a few ranges in how much they should be open. So open fully connects us to the spirit world. And that's part of the opening ceremony that we would do when we're channeling. But then when we're done, we have to do this closing ceremony that closes the petals of the flower over, not all the way, but moves them back into the range that's proper for physical function. We don't want to be constantly connected to the spirit world, or at least as much as we would in channeling. So we want to close it over, and that's the perfect state. And once you do that, you wait about 15 minutes, do something boring, make the beds, wash the dishes, or you could go walk. It doesn't have to be boring. You do something nice, but something that keeps you grounded and not thinking about the spirit world. And then your chakras are in that state that's physical operation mode, and they won't spring back open into the higher plane. But that's what protects you. That's the biggest protection you have, being very aware of your energy, and in her case, not leaving the phone off the hook.
I love it. All righty, we got more to this dream, and it's getting even more fun. I get really scared, even though the guy I'm with tells me an entity can't get in here. I tell him that the entity did the other night. I start to panic and I yell for mom and dad. Dad is sleeping in my sister's room and mom is in her room. They both come in my room and I explain what happened. My dad is holding a big, heavy oak bookcase that has a small lamp on top. He leans it against my big window. I notice that it is a bright light outside. He tells me that the entity can't get in this way now. What? I could push that thing over easily. I can't understand how the entity got in. My mom tells me there's a million ways an entity can get in. I start panicking and clinging to the man that's in the bed with me. Earlier in the dream, I'm walking down a sidewalk with my mom and dad. Mom is leading. Dad is a ways behind her, and I'm in the back. Dad seems bigger than normal. He's holding street food that we had recently bought in a white paper wrapper. He starts to wobble a little like he's not well. I hear a ticking sound. I get close to Dad and realize that the ticking sound is him chewing. I asked him if he's okay, and he replies that he's out of phase. What does that mean? He stumbles, and I take the food out of his hand so he doesn't drop it. He catches up to my mom and tells her he's having a phase glitch and he can't stay awake. All righty, Michael, this one's getting weirder. What does all that mean?
Well, that's the end of it. So being out of phase is one of the ways that an attack, especially by proficient attackers, can be executed. And you can't really think in terms of like physical operation, but isn't it funny in the dream? she takes the food out of his hand so it doesn't fall to the ground. If he's out of phase, the physical objects will react differently in his hand. That part tells us a couple of things too, by the way. She has a hands-on healing ability. It tells us also that dad is a good one for her to focus on, because he's saying, hey, look, this protection will work. And she's holding on to the man in the bed as well. Like, hey, save me kind of thing. And mom is the one that's like, no, there's a million ways entities can get into you. No, that's not true. But she has a negative philosophy around this. And the negative philosophy is connected to the issues with mom. And so doing the work there is going to help her make sure this problem doesn't happen again in the future. In fact, one of the things that's interesting about entity attacks is the spirit world allows them, because they really show us where we're open. They show us where we need to work on ourselves. And that's true for many, many different things in our lives. The obstacles in our path are the things that show us the work we need to do. The obstacles actually become the catalyst for our growth. So they turn from obstacle to, they were really a blessing, because who I am now is such a better person than who I was, because I had to overcome that obstacle. I had to raise my vibration to the point where I was no longer afraid of that obstacle. So it's the same with entities. The spirit world is full of benevolent spirits, very nice, loving, kind spirits, and an unlimited number of them are willing to help you. But it also has nasty elements too. And it's up to us to learn how to protect ourselves. And the way entities get to us is through cracks in our own field, cracks in our own protection, and things that will bring us down. So here in this case, issues with mom is going to bring her down. That's not good. Being in that kind of fearful, negative state, like there's nothing can be done. They can get me no matter what anybody tries to do to help me. That's the perfect space to be in for an entity to attack you. She needs to be in this much more positive space, which she has been. So she already knew how to do this. She started closing down and hasn't had a problem since. So that's really good. And this dream was sent into the show a few weeks ago. But there are so many different ways that attackers can get to you. It's just really interesting. But this phase one is one of the types of attacks. So they kind of knock you a little bit out of phase with the rest of your spirit team. We all have protectors in the spirit world too, especially if you're a light worker. And if you're out of phase, then sometimes they can't protect you either. So it's just interesting how somebody who knows nothing about this has a dream with the very detail that is important. So when we saw this piece, I got Sandy to check it and fix it, put her back into phase. There, I outed you, Sandy.
Thanks. So Michael, back to the dream. I'm very curious about a couple things. And the first one that I'm looking at is, why is her dad holding a big, heavy oak bookcase? What is up with a big, heavy oak bookcase? And I realize there's a small lamp on top of it.
I was going to point that out. The lamp on top is really important. So if you're wondering if something in a dream is good or bad, falls into the positive or negative categories, a lamp on top or a symbol of light connected to anything means it's a good thing. So he is basically saying, look, you have the knowledge in hand to deal with this, like knowledge of the light, because that's what the bookcase is about. But her response to him, and we understand what everything means in a dream, is that knowledge isn't enough. It is, of course, because she already knew about how to close down. She just wasn't doing it. And then when she did it, end of problem.
Oh, that explains why mom is leading when they're on the sidewalk, because she's not listening and closing down like she knows she should.
It's understandable that we can get kind of panicked about a situation like this. But what we teach people in the school is like, never be afraid of anything. No matter whatever happens, you can always be cleared. It's just a given. Attackers have a very small arsenal in which to attack you with. And this is something we don't normally talk about on the show, mind you. And here we go, are going deep into it. Attackers get their power from the light. So any mechanism that you have that's connected to the light is going to be infinitely more powerful than anything they can use to attack you. So you can always undo anything anybody ever does. Or if you don't know how, if you've done one of our courses, we'll do it for you. We'll clear you. We'll get you out of any situation and re-educate you to say, hey, here's why it's happened. Here's what you need to do. Sometimes we also say, hey, here's somebody in your orbit that you need to avoid. The attack is coming from them. And of course, then moving out of their orbit ends it too.
Yeah, that's very true. Alrighty, Michael, I think we did really well on that one. A very curious dream. Let's move on to the next one. The condo on the beach from Maria. I arrived with Max up north at Annie's condo. It's a lakefront unit, which are the best ones. She has a big, giant sliding glass door, and you can see a sand dune out her door. I was telling her that it was a great unit. Oh, but she's not directly on the lake, though. It was an inlet of water from the lake that came right up to the door. It's good that nobody could sit outside on the beach chairs in front of the unit and invade her privacy or view, but she wasn't really on the beach. I thought that's not quite as good. Max was disagreeing with me, saying that he didn't have the same opinion. He wanted to go out to dinner. I think at first I agreed, and then I read a note from Annie that she left on the stairs. She said she was happy to have us stay there and was sorry she wasn't there. She asked questions about our preferences. Did we want this or that or the other so she could arrange it? Oh, I like Annie. All right, Michael.
So this dreamer is cutting the ties that bind with dad. And for a few weeks, we've really focused on this. We're showing dreams where people are working in therapy and cutting the ties that bind with dad or cutting the ties that bind with mom. It's a very badly named therapy. It's not about cutting ties with that person. It's about removing negative influence from that person so you have a better relationship often. But the way to look at it this way is it's not like, oh, this is the same thing rehashed over and over again. For everybody, the situation is extremely different. So Maria's dreams versus Jane's dreams versus anybody else. The issues that come up in the dreams are major issues in their life. We come here to heal. We come here to use our gifts. We come here to do many things. And our dreams are going to reflect on all of those. And then they're going to show us the issues that we have with whatever that is, whether it's a relationship or the use of a gift or some aspect where we hold ourselves back. And our dreams are going to connect it to a parent, very typically connected to a parent. I'd say 99.9% of the time. And the idea is if you want to improve your life, you've got to work on the issues around this one person because this parent is the anchor for you to heal yourself in this lifetime. And when you do that work, when you free yourself from that negative conditioning, it unlocks your abilities, it unlocks your gifts, it improves your relationships, it improves your health. All these things improve. And they're very unique and specific to you. You can't say, for instance, oh, if I cut ties with dad, this is what's going to happen. Or if I cut ties with mom, this is what's going to. It's not that simple. So here we see that Max in the dream didn't care about the dreamer's opinion. And so the first question I asked her then, is that how dad was? And she goes, absolutely. My ex was that way and dad was definitely that way. So we had a little bit of a conversation and some of the things come up from the rest of the dream. But really her view in life is there is no point in me sharing my opinion because it'll change nothing. And that came from the fact that dad had no interest in anybody else's viewpoint whatsoever. It wasn't even a debate. He just had his view and his view was the king. And then she ends up marrying somebody who has the same outlook. We say this all the time. We talked about that, in fact, in our last bonus workshop. But that's really what it's about. So can you imagine if you have this view in life that nobody cares about, in my opinion, there's no point me even sharing it? That's like really crushing on a constant basis. And if you can do work that lifts that, it's not just that now people do care about your opinion. It's like it's such a different interaction in life. Amazing stuff. Promise to come when you do the work.
What about all this about not really being on the beach? What's that about?
Yeah, she's been a bit negative there. Yeah, it's not quite. So she's judgmental about it. Like, oh, I suppose you have a bit of privacy, but you're not really as close as to the water as you wanted to be. Now that's all about her. So it's showing that she is a bit judgmental, but it's also showing that she's not happy with where she is in life. I want to be on the beachfront, but then at the same time, it's a lake, and a lake is a body of water. So when it represents the spirit world, it has no flow. So Maria needs to create an outlet for her spiritual gifts and use them in this lifetime.
Ooh, very good. All righty, we're going to move on because the dream is interesting. Okay, suddenly Annie is there and showing me different sandwich options. Some had turkey, Some had meat. None of them I really wanted, but I said thank you. Some of the stuff she had tied up really high from the ceiling above my head, like chips and snacks. I guess that was her food that she didn't want us to eat. Like the owner putting away the food for when the renters are there. I find that funny.
This part's very straightforward, and I know it looks funny in the dream, but anything above eye level is generally something you're encouraged to do or reach for. Anything below eye level is something you're being asked to drop. And so here with the treats above eye level, I asked her about her diet. I said, how are you on your diet? And she goes, I'm super, super strict. And I said, do you ever break it? And she goes, yeah, I do. But anyway, what it turns out is when she breaks her diet, she almost does it in a sneaky way so that she doesn't feel guilty about it, because she does. So it's almost like, I don't break my diet. This other aspect of me breaks my diet. But the dream is saying, look, you need to treat yourself, because these are treats that are being held up above her. So she needs to treat herself. She needs to be less hard on herself about her diet.
It's funny, and I wish my dreams would tell me I don't need to be hard on myself in the diet. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. I decided that it would be really nice to stay there and eat with her. I go and tell Max because she was offering, and because we had just arrived, it would be rude to leave her there by herself and go off to this restaurant. Max got really angry at me because that was the plan and he wanted to go. He started getting really loud and he was going to go. I think he went upstairs. I said, well, just come. I'll show you what she got and we can find something here to eat. I hear him on the phone call with another woman, Monica, that he is in town and was making arrangements to meet her. He was talking loud enough for me to hear on the phone as if he didn't care. He wants me to hear out of punishment or to cause me pain for not doing what he wanted. I can hear her as well, and she's all excited. She's been working, but he convinces her to tell her boss that she has to go. It was if she's doing something she's not supposed to do, like skipping out on work. But she does because she's flattered he's paying attention to her and wants to go out to dinner with her, not knowing he really had an ulterior motive, which was to use her to get me angry. She calls and gets permission from her boss to leave. Then he leaves. I'm embarrassed for how Annie feels. I'm angry that he left.
A lot of the time you have to kind of step back from a dream and say, okay, what is it doing? What is the theme here? And the theme here is she is doing things to be polite. And one of the traits of having issues with dad is that you do things to get attention. Like you help other people out without being asked. You clean up in school to help the teacher without being asked. All that sort of stuff. And you could easily say, we're staying in Annie's place. It would be rude to go out. That's absolutely true. But this is a dream. A dream is a blank canvas. So she's painted herself into a position in her dream where the host is there and she wants to please the host, and her ex is there and her ex wants to go out, and she's caught in the middle. She's feeling embarrassed for the message that this gives the host. But there's nothing she can do about it because Max is a jerk. Of course, Max, although he's real, really points out the major issues she has with dad. She ends up in reality getting caught in situations where she can't please both parties. So this is what we try to do. We say, okay, because of the issues I had with dad, I'm going to become a people pleaser. I'm going to always do what people want. But then what do you do when there's conflict? And pleasing two different people would require you to do something that upsets the other. So this is how it is for her in life. The dream is just pointing it out, that she is not considered by either party, really. Not that Annie is doing anything wrong, but originally she wasn't even meant to be there. So the point of this is do the work on yourself, and then you won't care about other people. You'll be a bit more like Max, but not rude and not crude. And you'll be able to not just do what you think will make other people happy. It's shocking when you think about how much we do in life just to be the opposite way our parents are. And so it's often a case of, when you do the work, what would you really be like underneath when you've taken away that layer? The trauma that caused you to be that way, will you still be that way? And the way it often shows up is we still keep the very positive traits that are the result of the trauma, like her being very sensitive to pleasing other people. So she would still keep that, but she wouldn't feel obligated to do it all the time. She'd be able to choose, oh, this is a situation where that's good, or this is a situation where I'm going to do something else. And I'm not going to feel terrible about me wanting to do something else. Right now, she just couldn't do it.
Wow. Very interesting. So I find it interesting that we got him getting really loud, and he's going to go out no matter what. And then he makes a phone call. So what's going on with the phone call?
It's like, I'm being caught here. This person has an agenda that has really nothing to do with me. I'm a target on their agenda because I'm not doing what they want. And this is a people pleaser. So a people pleaser wants to do what other people want. But I'm now in a situation where I can't please both people. So what do I do? So really just highlights the problem, that the way you are now will not always work. You've got to fix the problem.
Very, very interesting. There's a lot to unpack in that dream. Anyways, let's move on. We got another dream now. And the title of this one is Visiting an Outdoor Brothel Across from the Church. Woo, I love the title. And this
All
is
right.
from...
Well, we're not going to do it because we're out of time. But I wanted Sandy to read it out because I think that's a great hook for next week.
I know. It's a crazy. Oh, this dream looks like fun too. And I hope everybody has a fabulous week. And remember, go sign up for our summit because you want to get these workshops. They're amazing. So much detail and a lot of fun stuff in them. And of course, the weekend, you're just going to have a blast. And our next workshop is Thursday, May 1st at noon Pacific time. But our 3-day event is 2 weeks after that, May 16th through the 18th. So hope to see you there. Thank you and bye.
Dream-analysis.com/free to get your ticket. Take care.